Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. This is Get Wrenching. I'm your host Murray. What are we doing today? Well, I just so happened to went to the junkyard and grabbed this rear end for an upgrade for an old car that I'm doing up. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a sandwich and a beverage, and guess what? We're tearing into it. So there, guys and gals of YouTube land, you're probably wondering, why do you have a diff laying on the floor? Well, if you guys and gals have been following along, or if you're new to the channel, I have a 1978 Plymouth Valere. It currently has a 7 1/4 in the back end of it. I plan on putting some horsepower to it, and I really like to go drag racing. So there's several different options with a Dodge to get rid of the 7 1/4. I could go with 8 1/4, which is usually a common rear end in those, other than the 7 1/4. I could go with a 9 1/4, which is commonly found in trucks, some passenger cars, and some A-bodies. And then there's the infamous Dana 60 that I definitely cannot afford. It's worth more than what my car is. I didn't forget about the 8 3/4. Sorry about that, YouTube. The 8 3/4 Chrysler is another one that a lot of the Mopar guys really love to use. It's the 9-inch of the Chrysler world. So I just can't afford it. It's not my budget. So then my buddy Brandon got me onto this. What about an 8.8 Ford? Well, here we are. Went out to the junkyard. Sure enough, I found what I was looking for. Excuse me. I was looking for something with 355 gears, maybe 373s, and a Posi. Well, according to the door sticker that was on this said Mazda Ranger, because it did come out of a Mazda and is built by Ford. I'll insert the VIN number here and show you on the axle where it says the code. I looked the code up. Sure enough, it said 355 limited slip. So here we are. Yes, I know in the Ford world, a lot of people like to upgrade to the 9-inch in their vehicles and all that. But for the price that I paid for this, and I hope the inside is in really good shape because I haven't had it apart yet. It does have a Posi. Both axles spin the same way. So you're going to come with me today. We're going to take the cover off and we're going to take a look inside and see what we got. So YouTube, before we tear the cover off and see what we have inside, I just want to spin this pinion flange here. So if you were at the junkyard and you didn't have a door sticker, say that you just found a random rear end. Well, sometimes they have tags, like these Fords are supposed to have a tag here and here. Well, here in Nova Scotia, anything that's body metal or thin metal, first thing to get deleted. So what you can do, other than take the cover off, put your hand on the pinion, turn it. That one spin in that direction, same direction. Take your hand, come over here and try to hold that. Well, it's not turning the diff. It doesn't want me to turn it because I'm holding the axle now. Let off, it's turning it right on. Come over to the driver's side. Same thing. Wants to keep trying to turn it the same direction as that axle. So if both axles turn in the same direction as you're spinning the pinion, you know you have a locker, Posi, some sort of a mechanical device in there to make both axles turn the same direction. Now, if you spun the wheels or the pinion, this turns this way, and then that turned the opposite way, then you know you have an open differential. It's just a little something easy, quick check, and you can find yourself a Posi real easy. So YouTube, how do we know this got 355 gears? Well, on Fords, they're written right on it, which is awesome. And how can we tell it's limited slip? Just because of that little spring right there. That's what puts all the tension on those spider gears and locks everything together with little clutches inside of here. And then on a Ford, if you look down here on the pinion, I spin it around, get a light back there for you. See if this thing will focus. You can see 355 stamped on it, plus the actual code of the diff right there. And that will tell you that it's a limited slip for the L. And then the 5A was the code that was on the door of the truck. Yeah. So far, so good. All the teeth look good here on the pinion and on the ring gear. The oil was just like brand new. Looked like someone had been in there. So, what am I going to do with this diff now? Well, this is when the work begins. I simply just can't bolt this in the car. So, right away I'm going to have to cut all the spring perches off, remove all the brake lines. The backing plates I'm going to remove because they're all bent up. As you can, they're all bent. I took my vernier, measured the tube. It's 2 3/4 inches. Also, measured the brakes, which is another big upgrade for my car because my car's only got 9-inch brakes. This has 10, and the shoes are 2.5 inches wide, which is great. But I may run into a problem with wheel cylinders. So when you get new wheel cylinders, they usually don't come with the little extension pieces. I'll show you here. Oh, there it is right here. So as you can see right there, that's what goes into your wheel cylinder right here, like so. Well, if you can see the shape that they're in, it looks like it came off the RMS Titanic. So now I'm going to have to track some of that stuff down. So now I know that I have 10-inch brakes, 2.5-inch shoes. I can order the wheel cylinders, the drums, combi kit, self-adjusters, have everything here so that way everything's new in this. Now the spring pads, you can order these through Summit or through Amazon or eBay or even simply at the auto parts store. I haven't checked our local Napa yet. I'm not sure if they can get this stuff in for me, but I'm going to try to support local. Also, I'll need some new U-bolts, probably to match this diff and try to modify my hanger that's on the car now to fit these new U-bolts. Also, these pads, as you can see, that's the top of the diff if it was in a Ranger. The leaf spring would sit on top. Well, in my car, this pad goes to the bottom, right there. Also, to their YouTube world, a lot of people with my type of car, and a Volare, know that a B-body rear end out of a 68 to 70 will bolt right in without having to modify none of the spring perches or anything. They are 59 inches from axle flange to axle flange. Well, guess what? This one's 59 inches from axle flange to axle flange, which is great. It also carries the same bolt pattern as my car. 5 by 4.5. So that's even better. I don't have to change rims, none of that. According to this here too, I'm going to need some new wheel studs because, obviously this is not good. It's missing them and this one keeps falling out. So at least I'll have something to take Napa with me. So when I pick up some new ones. Also too, I discovered, which, I was a Ford mechanic for a while. Never ran into this, but that diff cover is plastic. I've never ran into that. Weird. Usually ran here. Well, I can tell you why a lot of times diff covers come off here is because they're rusted out, believe it or not, YouTube world. Here in Nova Scotia, the old salt likes to chew everything up really good. Also, YouTube, with these 8.8s, you can get 2 different axles in these. You get a 28 spline and a 31 spline. I don't know what this one is. Not per se. I won't know until I take it apart, which I'm not going to do today because I'm going to pour the oil back in this and put the cover back on because we're not going to get at this right away. Another thing, YouTube, with your brakes, you find a diff like the way I found this one, which I'll insert photo here. This diff was like it was meant to be. The truck was split in two. The diff was hanging out of the truck on leaf spring. Only had to cut 2 U-bolts on one side. It was actually holding the box from falling over onto me. So when I cut the last U-bolt, I made sure I was standing back. And as soon as she let go, the box came over and the diff dropped. I get it out the way. There we are. So when you're going to get these, the way this was laying in the mud, you can see one brake shoe was just laying there. Make sure you get all this stuff. This stuff you just can't buy over the shelf, or you're going to have to go to another truck and try to find these, which I like buying them all as a complete unit, and then they'll have all the gear. Where can you find an 8.8? What vehicles did these rear ends come into? Well, they came in several different Ford vehicles. You can get these in half tons. You can get these in Rangers. You can get these in Explorers, which a lot of people like the Explorer because they're a little bit narrower. Usually are a 31 spline axle in those, and they have disc brakes. Crown Vics are usually the same way. You can get these in Ford Mustangs, old LTDs, whatever was rear wheel drive and Ford, basically you could get these. I'm not sure about some of the older stuff. A lot of the common rear end for Ford was, their generic El Cheapo one is usually 7.5. But this 8.8, I've seen this in several race trucks, and I forgot all about these. Like, I was so wrapped up into the Mopar stuff, I never even thought about the blue oval stuff that we used to make our Mopars better. I know they're just laughing right now, right? But Ford has always been good that way with their diffs. The 9-inch, like I said before, was quite popular. A lot of people like using that in their hot rods. Well, I'm going to use an 8.8 in my hot rod. So there. Also to YouTube, my shocks will bolt to the bottom of my pad that's on the car now. So I may have to get a little longer shock because the way this is configured in the car, it's going to take some ciphering, some measuring. I said we're not going to get this right away. I don't mean like months from now. I mean like probably 3 or 4 weeks from now we might be getting into this. So the reason being why we got to, probably in a couple weeks time do this is because what's sitting right there. Finally got a chance to get out to the junkyard. The weather's finally starting to break here now. I'm sorry I haven't been posting a lot of videos. YouTube is just right now the way my job is. I'm kind of laid off at the moment. Been laid off for a couple months. There's nothing else around here to do, so money's been kind of tight. Weather's been really crappy here. Like the end of February, first part of March, winter showed up. All January, February, we were having beautiful weather, but whatever. So yeah, we got to get this diff done. We got to get it in the car, because also too, YouTube, my 7 1/4 only has 242s for a gear ratio. This 355 is going to waken that thing up. I'm not saying it's going to make it like a breakneck speed or I'm going to run 12s on the quarter mile. It's not going to do that at all. But at least it'll, make the car actually work good. Probably be better for tuning, because the old highway gears I found with the 4-barrel is not that great when you smash it down and try to tune it. So yeah, let's hopefully we can get this all together. So that's going to conclude it for me today here, YouTube. If you like what you saw, you know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys and gals, I'd really like to know if you put any 8.8s in any of your hot rods. Don't necessarily need to be a Ford, don't necessarily need to be a Dodge or a Chev or anything like that. Whatever it is that you put it in, put it down in the comments below. I'd love to know, and maybe put your picture of your car in there. That'd be great. I'd love to see that. That'd be awesome. So if you guys and gals do this for a living, just for a hobby, just remember, stay safe, get wrenching. We'll see you next time.